Hello, my name is Cinda Brock and I'm the founder and trainer for Champions Equestrian, and today we're going to be talking about the foundational basics for barrel riding. We're going to be discussing how to map the pattern, how to draw the pattern, and we're going to work our way up from a walk to a trot to a canter, and then eventually, if you've got the right foundation of the turns, you can lead yourself into then galloping. This is Zoe in her horse court, and she is going to show us how to work the pattern starting from the walk. So if you take your horse out, first, we're just going to look at the pattern, the way it's set up. Okay, and we have 3 barrels in a barrel pattern. We have a left barrel and a right barrel, as well as a center barrel down the middle. And when you're running this pattern, when you're working this pattern, this has multiple layers. You know, when we're working this pattern, it isn't just for those equestrians that are going out to barrel race. It is also for a dressage rider. It's also for a jumper. It's for anybody that needs to learn how to look and turn on a horse. And so this has multiple layers of practicing and meaning. And so when you look at this pattern, there's 2 ways to do it. We're going to take and run both of them. If you take your horse down the middle and we run the left barrel first, your last 2 barrels will be a right turn. And Zoe's going to establish that here in just a minute. If we run the opposite pattern, we're going to be running from the right barrel first. My last 2 barrels are always turned in the same direction. So if I go around the right barrel first, my then next 2 barrels are off the left turn. How to work on how to turn a horse, it depends on what level the horse is at. And so Zoe's going to come on in and she's going to walk the pattern first, and we're just going to do what's called mapping. And I do this a lot for dressage, I do this a lot for jumpers, and also for the speed events. She's going down the center of the arena, and as you watch her tracking, she's creating a pocket. And what I mean by that, you think about creating space, you're moving the horse around your inside leg, which is the shaping leg, and then closing the turn with her outside leg. And if you're doing this pattern, you'll notice that you're making a figure 8 out of the first 2 barrels. She's creating that pocket off of her inside leg and rein, which is the shaping, and she's closing the turn with her outside leg and rein as she turns the corner. The last barrel, since she took the second barrel as a right turn, will also be a right turn. And so as she's going down the arena, you're going to notice herself, you're going to notice how she tracks across the center of the arena. She's going to create a little bit of a pocket, and you can see it more from this angle. As she creates that pocket, the reason why we create a pocket is to make the second half of the turn close to the barrel. As you progress in this pattern, what you're going to find happening is you're going to find that your horse is not going to have to create such a big pocket. But you don't want to compromise form and position just to go faster. Because the faster you go, if you compromise how far away from the barrel you are, the more difficult the pattern gets, okay? And so what she's going to do now is she's going to pick up a trot. And when she starts moving around the arena, she started with the left barrel and finished with a right turn off of the last 2. Okay, what we do as riders, especially since we're trying to base things equally and with symmetry, is she's probably going to ride both the right pattern and the left pattern. And here's why. We don't want to dominate our horse to being only one-sided and being able to turn one way. They also start to create bad habits as far as always knowing the pattern ahead of us. And so she's trying to keep the horse right between the leg and the rein. See how she's just going nice and slow. She's not compromising her position. We've talked about that. She's not compromising the communication which the horse is understanding. She's using her legs and her seat and her position to tell the horse exactly where to be. And she's going to round that last barrel. So she's done both patterns, the left starting barrel and the right. There you go. One of the mistakes people make in pattern riding is that they come out of that last turn, especially if it's on a speed horse, and you see the horse not run a straight line. What happens with these horses as they start to learn the patterns and you get a little messy about your position and your pattern riding is that the horse starts to run sideways down the middle. And one way that you can kind of help yourself visually put together where to run, obviously we're splitting the arena in half right down the middle of the arena. Sometimes you can put poles or obstacles, one on each side. Cones work as well, poles work as well, that literally tell you to aim for the middle of the arena right down the middle from that last barrel.